Movie stars will do whatever it takes to get into character, and sometimes that means completely changing their looks. Here to talk about some of the most extreme body transformations ever is my pal from ESPN and host of the movie podcast Cinephile, Adnan Virk. Adnan, great having you back, brother. We're going to start with Charlize Theron, whose shocking transformation playing a serial killer won her an Academy Award for the movie Monster. It was phenomenal. Adnan, talk about what Charlize went through for this part.
Yeah, Jess, great to be back with you once again. And you're right, Charlize was so powerful in that movie. It was the role of a lifetime. She put on 30 pounds to play the character Eileen Wuornos, who was a serial killer who ended up being executed in Florida in 2002 after being found guilty of murdering several men. But she put on 30 pounds for the role. She actually ended up using different cosmetics. She had her hair thinned. She even wore dentures just to affect the way she talked. Had her eyebrows bleached as well. It's a shocking transformation that she went through. And as you mentioned, won an Academy Award for.
And as you say, putting on 30 pounds, what did she have to say about that shocking transformation?
Well, she knew it was so jarring for the audience, and so she was worried a little bit that people would focus on that rather than the monster inside all of us, and that she wanted to show the humanity of this character. And she said ultimately, Eileen Wuornos had a lot of body image issues, and Charlize wanted to tap into that. She found this entire process definitely overwhelming, and she tried to transmit that on screen. In our next extreme transformation, Adnan, how about Margot Robbie, who played Olympic figure skater Tonya Harding in the movie I, Tonya. Adnan, what did she have to do for that role? You know, it's amazing what she did in that movie, Jesse. She had an Academy Award nomination for her performance, and this is a character who, listen, has been reviled in the public spotlight, but really Margot Robbie showed her humanity, and she did that by getting into character. She has to age 29 years in the movie. She used a special lash adhesive and used it in the corner of her eyes to make it more droopy. She went and got cheap makeup, cheap hair dyes. She also, did embrace the fact that she had to kind of get rid of her own glamour and do this character and do it right. Even Tonya Harding's trademark black eyeliner, Margot Robbie was willing to do it because, don't forget, $11 million movie shot in 31 days, and the fact she had to age 29 years throughout the course of the film.
And a phenomenal performance, obviously. What was the biggest obstacle, you think, into transforming from Margot to Tonya?
Honestly, she's just so naturally beautiful, Jesse. So she had to be in the makeup chair for 1 to 3 hours just to kind of get rid of her jawline, give her kind of a rounder face, and try to take away that appeal. And she said, on a really emotional level, she dived into the character and watched all the interviews that she could with Tonya Harding. She tried to be a little bit more reticent around the media, understand what it's like to have your head down and to be so guarded all the time. And she found it to be a powerful role. Also, of course, she embraced the whole challenge of being a figure skater. She had to skate 3 times a week for hours at a time for over the course of 5 months. She actually was a good hockey player at one time. I don't know if she was quite Jesse Palmer, Adnan Virk level, but maybe she could be on the Kingston Frontenacs one day.
Yeah, maybe the Ottawa 67s if she hoped. I mean, it's incredible. She really kind of tapped into her own Tonya Harding. Maybe you might say great Canadian medalist Elizabeth Manley with some of that figure skating. All right, let's
1988 Calgary. Well done.
Very, very well. I think a silver medal, if I'm not. Katarina Witt edging her out.
Yes.
Let's talk about a shocking weight loss for a role. How about Matthew McConaughey, who won the Best Actor Oscar for his role in Dallas Buyers Club? This was absolutely phenomenal. And then what do you have to do?
This was incredible, Jesse. The guy lost 47 pounds to play Ron Woodruff, who was a real-life character in 1985, loved to ride the rodeos, and ultimately got a diagnosis of being HIV positive. Was given 30 days to live at the age of 35. So he colludes together a group called the Dallas Buyers Club. They end up getting illicit drugs, but it's done to help them stay alive, and he's willing to do whatever it takes when it comes to keeping his life going. And so, as I mentioned, the 47-pound weight loss, he said he chewed ice a lot. He met with a nutritionist, found out how to lose the weight. 3.5 pounds per week he ended up losing, and it's jarring seeing him. You can't recognize that's Matthew McConaughey.
No, I was going to say unrecognizable, and basically half 100 pounds. What did he have to say about chewing ice and losing all that weight?
It was amazing. He'd wake up, he'd have a Diet Coke, he'd have a couple of egg whites, have a piece of chicken, a Diet Coke, and that would be about it. He said he ended up feeling like a baby bird. He said looking up at his mother saying, please feed me, but of course that food is not coming. He said he did a ton of cardio, but honestly, it was 90% diet. So it was amazing to see what he's able to do. Very much a Jesse Palmer diet, I've been told.
Yeah, very, very strong willpower on that. A testament to that willpower, really staying with that salmon and broccoli diet. Okay, speaking of Dallas Buyers Club, Jared Leto was outstanding as well, won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and he also made a shocking transformation. What went through that one?
Oh, amazing. Once again, he had to lose so much weight, Jesse. He already is thin to begin with. He went down to 114 pounds and, in fact, embraced social media. He showed his transformation for everyone to see on Instagram. At the beginning, he had a beard. He got rid of that. He waxed his armpits. He got rid of all of his body hair. He even shaved his eyebrows. He ended up having to use specific makeup because his character is a transsexual, so he had to get special makeup to get more of a cheek contour, fuchsia lipstick. He really wanted to embrace everything that this character was all about and be authentic in the role.
Yeah, dieting's one thing. Waxing your armpits, though, completely different level. That's method acting at its finest. What did Leto say about this shockingly different look?
Well, he didn't mention the waxing of the armpits, although he did mention the fact when he waxed his eyebrows, ended up shaving them. He was worried they wouldn't grow back, but thankfully they did, and he ended up having to wax them again. But he said it was amazing getting into that headspace and feeling what this character was like because it was awfully emotional, and he felt it was both physical and emotional to go through that exhausting process.
Okay, let's move on next, Adnan. Lily Collins as a woman with anorexia in To the Bone. Now, this was not only a very surprising role, it was also a little bit controversial. Tell us why.
Well, here's the fact with this one, Jesse, is the fact that Lily Collins herself had battled eating disorders, and so she had dealt with anorexia and bulimia, but in order to play this character, she wanted to go back to that headspace, and so she had to lose a lot of weight. This time did it with the support of her mother, her director, her doctor, but a lot of people found it questionable that she's playing this character who's battled weight issues because she herself has dealt those weight issues in the past.
Is that why she felt so passionate, you think, about doing this role?
Absolutely. Just like a Daniel Day-Lewis, you know, she felt so committed to the character. She said, I have to do it because it's so important. And she said afterwards, somebody actually told her how much better she looked after she'd lost all of this weight. And she said to her mom, that's part of the problem. This is the body image issue that a lot of women have to go through.
Okay, last up, Adnan, a jaw-dropping transformation. How about Christian Bale in The Machinist? Walk us through this one.
Amazing to think he lost 60 pounds for this role. You know, his character is one who is just haunted by insomnia and is just beyond gaunt when you're watching this film. Literally, you see his rib cage at time. And Christian Bale said what he had to do for this movie was nothing short of this: smoke a lot of cigarettes and drink a lot of whiskey. He said, by the way, he recently tried that diet in his 40s and did not have the same reaction. Ended up having heart palpitations this time around. But he said his wife felt guilty every time that she was eating around him because he had to lose 60 pounds for this movie. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I tried that, I think, when I was 18 at Confederation High School. It didn't work as well. So what did he say about that dramatic weight loss?
Well, he said it ends up changing your entire mind from your entire body. He said literally it takes an enormous amount of energy just to walk up the stairs. And he said it's a real kind of a zen space that he kind of entered. There was no emotions. He was emotion-free. He said he could sleep for 2 hours and then read a book for 10 straight hours. It was impossible to get him rattled. And speaking of extremes, after the movie, he then had to go play Batman. And so he put on 100 pounds. He did this with like a high-protein diet, a lot of heavy core resistance training. And Christopher Nolan, the great director, took one look at him and said, all right, thanks, we now need to lose another 20 pounds.
Yeah, the heavy core resistance training. I know you know all about that. It's amazing, Adnan, what actors will go through to get themselves ready to play these roles. And listening to all this weight loss and these different stories, hopefully they had poutine on set, waiting for it when they wrap the movie.
Well, one final thought for you. Matthew McConaughey said that by the end of it, the Dallas Buyers Club transformation, you could wait to have cheeseburger and a pizza. We call that the Adnan Virk diet.
Yeah, we call that a 5 Maple Leaf score for reporting. Adnan Virk, great job. Make sure you check out Adnan Virk's movie podcast, Cinephile.